Welcome back to the channel. This is the Action Figure Grader. It's Thursday. It's time to look on eBay at recent sales for the vintage collection. And there was a factory error miscard that sold this week. That was a big number. And of course, Boba Fett was involved with that sale. So you know there's a Boba Fett tax. We'll get to that one towards the end of the video, but just, I don't know, nothing too crazy here other than that miscard. Really everything else is kind of stuff that we've covered in the past, but just wanted to give you an update in terms of the big items that sold on eBay, the usual suspects, but we'll take a closer look. The first one is an unpunched Darth Vader name pill, VC13 Anakin from Revenge of the Sith. Obviously, the unpunched Darth Vader name pill is the easier of the two to find that we've talked about at length. It's the Anakin Skywalker name pill that you really have a hard time finding that one unpunched. But this one did sell for $129, which felt like a pretty good deal. I mean, let's call that, what, 6 months ago? This was more like $150 to $175, if not higher. And it was in very clean condition. So that one did sell at $129 plus $10 shipping. But, you know, I don't remember what the last Anakin name pill VC13 unpunched that sold, but I know it was a big number. It was in that, I want to say it was 250 to 260, somewhere in there. And even higher prices have definitely been achieved for that. But if you see one, you know, that's listed for cheap, grab it. You know, Anakin Skywalker name pill unpunched for this VC13. That's a really tough one to get a hold of. So if you do see it, and you know, maybe the person who has it doesn't know that it's an expensive one, then grab it. Make sure to grab it, which it does happen sometimes on eBay. We see it all the time with other stuff. The same seller that we cover pretty much every week, which is Power Droid, he or she sold a bunch of items, and I only picked out a couple from this seller for this week, but it was yet another Darth Vader name pill, Revenge of the Sith Anakin. That one sold for $135, so pretty decent tight price range for you if you're looking for one. $129 plus $10 shipping, or $135 plus $7 shipping. It comes out to about the same price. And then this is one I'll have to say that I don't know if I've ever even seen before. I'm sure I have. I just don't remember it. But every time I see the VC96 Darth Malgus, it's always got the offer. It's always got that offer sticker on there, the Darth Maul offer. And this one was an offerless, a true offerless with nothing inside the blister. So, you know, I don't know if I've ever seen that, or if I have, I definitely don't remember it. It's so jarring looking at the card without the Darth Maul offer. I'm just so used to seeing it that way. And that one was a beauty, just really not very common to see that. So that, you know, and again, it sold for a big number. It sold for $105, whereas Darth Malgus, a typical, even clean one, unpunched with the Darth Maul offer, it's come down a lot. I mean, it's, you know, I'd say $50 to $75 at most. So there was a slight premium for getting an offerless, unpunched Darth Malgus there. Jocasta New, this one did sell for $175, which feels like a good deal. There was one that sold last week for $225. So that one did sell, I thought, for a very fair price at $175. But I do see them, even in auctions, I do see them still go for over $200 very regularly. So $175 was a very fair deal. Bastilla Sean, this one was a punched example with the prototype Fett offer. That one sold for $75. Obviously, that one's come down a lot, and it was punched. So, you know, you're going to be a little bit of a discount. But unpunched, I did find one data point unpunched that was around $100. So this one was a slight discount to that. Another Grand Moff Tarkin sold for $115.25 plus $8 shipping. There's been a lot of Grand Moff Tarkins here lately. Maybe the market knows something that I don't. Maybe there's a new one coming out soon. I don't know. But this one, it was a beauty. It was a really clean condition. So $115.25. And then I got a bunch of different Darth Vaders that sold. The first one was an offerless, unpunched Empire Strikes Back card. And that one sold for $35, which that feels like a really good deal to me for a VC08. Offerless, that's a really nice deal there. And then Emperor's Wrath, I think I did see on Facebook that they're re-releasing this one, so this one will continue to drop, I imagine. But this one did sell for $115, pretty clean. Looks like it had a little nick or something on the right-hand side of the card. But, to me, if you got extras of this one, the original, obviously, issue, you probably want to, and you're looking to offload them, now's probably the time to do it, because this 115 is going to turn into 100, is going to turn into 75, is going to turn into 50. We've seen it for every single re-release that's happened. Here is the one from the Thai Advance that just came out. Thai Advance version, VC 334. This one sold in an auction for $73. I found 2 or 3 other data points right around that price point. So people who don't want the vehicle, just want the carded figure, it sells for, about half of what the whole thing goes for. So big premium to just complete their carded run, and that one did sell for $73. I love this card image though, and I love the pink with it. There's something about the pink with it that really looks nice. Here's another one that sold for $81, but typically I've been seeing them sell $70 to $75, somewhere in that ballpark. This one went a little bit more at $81. And this was just the box only for the SDCC Death Star 2 box set. So if you have the box and you just wanted to keep the carded figures, the box did sell for $525. Wow. So that's a big number for just the box, but that is what it sold for, $525. The Tonica Sisters continue to kind of sell for about the same price. I just included a couple for those of you looking, because, at first they came out and they were crazy. They were like 175-ish a piece, and they've been consistently dropping, but it seems like they've settled out now at about $100. Anywhere from $100 to $115 is where I'm seeing the sales prices. So Bria sold for $119, Seni sold for $105, and plus or minus, really not minus. It's very rare that you get it for less than that. I did see the pair of them together sell for like $215 for both of them together. So that's about what, $107 a piece. So it seems like they've settled out there, at least for now. We'll see if that changes, but I haven't seen much drop in the last couple of weeks for the Tonica Sisters. Here is that Miscard. So this is a pretty wild one here. I don't know whose collection this was. It looks like only Juan Kenobi's room with all of those on the wall there. But this one was the factory error comic art version. The Treachery Lies, whatever it was, the Treachery Lies Deception Boba Fett is on the vintage comic art Boba Fett card back. So VC 277 versus, what is that one? Vintage comic art. And then they don't have the other one on here, of course. But anyway, so just they got it mixed up as to which one was supposed to be on which. And they had it listed for $1,000, which is a big number for an ungraded one. And it did sell. So that one, that was a miscard error. And the seller had positive feedback. So somebody pulled the trigger at $1,000. It's probably my buddy Ben, who collects all these miscards. He's got a bunch of them, but $1,000 is a lot of money. I mean, I had maybe 4 or 5 of these, and I did have mine graded and authenticated. So I sold most of mine in this ballpark, maybe plus or minus a couple $100, depending on the error. But again, there is a Boba Fett tax, okay? When you get a factory error miscard and Boba Fett's involved, we've seen some big numbers on eBay. I forgot, what was that? There was one that was like the VC 286 Return of the Jedi Boba Fett. I can't remember the figure that was inside, though. It was something really wonky, totally off the wall. Maybe, oh yeah, I know what it was. We saw one that was a Mandalorian and Boba Fett miscard. So obviously you got the two of the most popular characters from either the original trilogy or from, Disney Plus content. And it was I think it was a Beskar. It was either a Beskar or just the original Mando on the VC 286 Return of the Jedi card back. It's been a couple years now, but that one sold for a huge number. But, to me, if I had this in hand or somebody emailed me and said, what should I sell it for? It probably would have been around this number. I mean, a standard miscard where it involves 2 characters that most people don't particularly care about, I would say $500 to $700 is about the going rate. And maybe minus that if it's been proven to have a lot of them. There's a few of those miscards that came out over the last couple of years where there was like 6 of them or a whole case of them. So that drops the price pretty dramatically. But when you get something like this, where it's very clearly just a factory error that probably is not going to be replicated ever, you can command, you can set the prices. And I'm not terribly surprised that it sold at $1,000. It's a big number, but it's very cool. So congrats whoever got that one. I've got bad hiccups from my lunch, but onto some vehicles. We got the Amazon exclusive TIE Interceptor 250 on that one. I found a couple of that were a little bit lower than that, but this was a particularly clean example and included the shipper box. So that one did sell for $250. Yet another Jabba's sail barge sold. And, when they're factory sealed like this inside the factory shipper box, not a big surprise that it sold at $2,800. Seller has 2 more still available. One of them did sell at $2,800, still in the shipper box. That was a good investment for those of you that bought those and just didn't touch it. Those sail barges really went up in value. So I don't know if we'll ever see. Do you guys think, maybe leave me a comment while you're leaving me a like. Do you think that any of the other Haslabs will ever see the type of price appreciation that we saw for the Katana? And I don't think we will. I mean, number one is the size of it. It's just so epic. But I just can't picture in the current environment where the vintage collection is really struggling at retail and all the price increases and people exiting the hobby of collecting TVC. I personally don't think any of the Haslabs are ever going to approach this kind of price appreciation going forward. But maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Next up, we've got a uncirculated 90 grade for the Mos Eisley Jawa VC342. That was the pack-in for, I guess, the Cantina. And that one was an uncirculated 90. And that one sold for 64 pounds in an auction, which is $85. Some other graded items. We had the Captain Enoch with Thrawn's Night Troopers. That's a very cool box art there. That was an uncirculated 9.0 fan channel exclusive. Enoch and Thrawn's Troopers. That one was listed for $190. Best offer accepted. Some other graded TVC. Cad Bane. Really great box art on that one, or card art on that one. That was a 9.0, graded 9.0 Cad Bane, and that one sold for $140. Same seller had the Jetpack Trooper from Jedi Survivor. That was a 9.0 and sold for $140. We had an original Ahsoka. This was the US card, unpunched, original CAS 90 grade that sold for $279.99. God, I mean, think how crazy that is, how much it's come down from COVID era. I mean, COVID, this was like $1,800, and now it's going for $280. Crazy. And then we also had an uncirculated 90 grade with 3-tier grading for the mail order VCP03 rocket firing FET. That one sold for $325. That one's bouncing up a little bit, I feel like. For a while there, it got down into the 250, 275 range for an AFA 9.0. And this one's an uncirculated 90 with 3-tier grading, and that one did sell for $325. So that's bounced up a little bit off the lows that we saw. So anyway, that is all I've got for this episode of the Vintage Collection Market Update. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.